Hi, it's David at Art of David Smith. So, keeping the little superhero theme going, what I thought I'd do is, starting with these basic characters, so I've just got a very basic child, I suppose, drawn out, left and right, and with these ones I'm going to turn them into Hawkeye and Black Widow. I'm going to slowly work through all the Avengers while I'm off. So obviously it'll give everybody something to do, have a go at them. But what I'm trying to show you with this exercise is by having even the same outline, how you can radically change them around to different characters. I suppose it's very similar to how the Funko Pop figure thing works. So they take essentially the same mould with a few tweaks and make them into many different characters. So on the left here we're going to do Hawkeye, but what I'm going to do is the old school Hawkeye on this one. So I just think for these kind of exercises it's just got a little bit more character. So I guess these little characters, a bit like jelly babies, very simplistic. So keep the centre line. So hopefully all you guys are staying safe, keeping yourselves entertained. I will try and drop on as many videos as I can. I still do have work at the moment which I do have to complete as well. So at first I've got to get those done, but then after that I can really start firing a few videos in. So we're going to accentuate some of these features, so really oversize the mask like you'd expect if a child was wearing the uniform. So with the old school Hawkeye, had the big H on his forehead. Now one of the things that I am going to start to do this week is I'm running a bit of a competition with one of the local schools, just trying to keep them from getting bored at home really. So I've got all the parents throwing in suggestions at the moment for subjects for me to cover, and then what I'll do is the kids are going to have a crack at drawing whichever subject we come up with, and then from there I'll post some of the results on the next video. So say if it's animals what get picked, they're going to spend the week drawing various animals, and then when I have a go at animals on the following week I'm going to feature some of their drawings on my video as well. So if it's something you'd like to get involved in, by all means throw your name in the hat, throw a subject in there, and we'll keep working through, come up with some new videos. So quite simplistic way of working, but it's taking all those elements of the old school uniform costume that I had and putting them onto this little character. But again, then when you've got this, and what I can do is I can post a link to one of my other pages for you to download a version of this little character, and then maybe you guys can have a go at it if you fancy. I can maybe post in some of your results on here. So just putting the boots in at the moment. But once you've got this character, you can obviously adapt it to do whatever you want with. Change it. So we'll put his all-important quiver on his back. And again, at this stage, it's all keeping it all quite loose. Before we really start the inking in process and the finishing process. But it's at this, obviously with everything what's going on at the moment, it's about keeping everybody's minds active as well as my own. Luckily I've got 2 kids running me rampant at the moment with various questions on homework and things like that, so I'm keeping busy. And I've obviously got my drawings as well. But again, if there's anything you'd like me to cover, just throw it in the comments. Keeps me busy as well, gives me something, a bit of direction and some subject matters for you, well, to keep me busy. So we're now on to Black Widow. This is based really on the more of the new Avenger film type costume for this one. I think this is more in keeping with Black Widow as we all tend to know her now. So, but obviously if you want to do old school, you can do old school as well. Again, it's a case of taking those key elements from the uniform, the character that you're wanting to incorporate onto here, and putting those onto your costume. Obviously if you don't get the scaling quite right, rub it out, start again. By at least working in this way, not only can you try a whole plethora of different variants, but if you don't like the results, you just scrap it, start again. When I was working these guys out yesterday, I've now got a whole sheet to work through, different examples, so in subsequent videos I'm wanting to do Captain America and Iron Man, Loki and Thor. The Hulk's going to make an appearance, just need to decide who he's going to be paired with, but all using the same basic character that I've started with on here. So again, just like we did with Hawkeye's mask, I want to accentuate some of the key features. So in regards to Black Widow, I wanted to play with the hair, really go to town on that, oversize it. I'll not ink all this, I'll do a little bit of the inking on camera, but you've seen enough of that now to know how I work. So I'll accentuate certain areas, I'll thicken with the ink while I'm cleaning up some of these messy lines. But in this instance it's just trying to get that nice flow of the hair that she tends to have. And then what I'll do as well is I'll add a little bit of electricity to these batons that she carries. So with that, kind of as if a bit like static electricity lightning around the edges. And again, when I come to colour this, I can draw attention to this by using lightning type blues around the edges of these batons. Draw attention to those. So as I reach over for my liners, those two. Yeah, so again, my stuff on your outside lines, I'll thicken those up. On the inside, thinner line. So again, on the outside, now one of the things I am looking to do, hopefully this week, is some proper figure drawing. So obviously these guys are just quick, simple illustrations of characters we're all familiar with. But what I want to do is a bit more of an extensive video on figure drawing, because if you can get the fundamentals of figure drawing resolved in your head, it makes doing things like this a lot easier in the future. And whether you draw things which are serious or whether you go into illustration and you're doing stuff which is quirky and you've played with, say, the sizes of your characters and stuff like that, if you've got a good grounding in figure drawing, it's going to make all that lot infinitely easier for posing your figures, and then how to play with their dimensions. Makes a lot more sense if you're understanding how a figure is proportioned correctly. So I'll work through that, I'll write a few notes, things which I think are pertinent to cover, and then when I put a video together I'll touch on all those points. But in the meantime, if you've got any comments, feedback, even if it's simply a case of saying hello, it's nice to know people are actually watching the videos and hopefully enjoying them. But yeah, just say hello. Certainly at this junction in all our lives, it's always nice to reach out to everybody, just make sure everybody's okay. Just putting the bow in. So I'm just there, you've seen I've just made a little bit of a mistake, but when I'm doing my clean up on the computer, because what I tend to do with all these is I scan them in, just give them a little bit of a clean up on the computer, just how I learned to work when I was doing computer games. So I'll clean all those up and before I start putting any colour on. So again, don't worry about that. If you make a little bit of an error yourself, obviously you can just go back round, thicken this line up. It'll look like it's always meant to be there. So I'm just going to throw in these last couple of lines. And again with the features, just in case of keeping them nice and simple. We don't need a lot of detailing for what we're doing on this, it's just a little exercise, it's just something to pass hopefully a couple of hours. Coming up with a few different versions, but as I've already mentioned, if you have a go at one of these and you want it to feature on the next video, follow the links on my website, which is in the links below. Go to that, send me an email and attach your picture, and then I can print them off and maybe feature them in the next video that we do. So let me know what you'd like me to cover next. As I say, I've already got Thor and Loki prepared, Captain America and Iron Man. Even got the beginnings of a Wolverine as well, so I'm thinking maybe Wolverine and Sabretooth for that one. Putting these arrows in. What I'll do is, off the camera, I'll do exactly the same to Black Widow. I'll ink her all in. I'll just continue as well with Hawkeye, just do a bit of a clean up, add some additional weight to some of these extra lines off the camera, but you can see from those two very simple drawings I started with how they've now been adapted to take on the mantle of Hawkeye and Black Widow. But I'll catch you on the next video. Stay safe everybody, and keep drawing, and don't forget to leave me a feedback and subscribes. But thank you very much, and I'll catch you on the next one. Cheers.